There will be a full race video on the way in the next few weeks. However, today we are going to discuss what the heck happened in my second attempt at the Swiss Alps 100. Let's go do it. There are some races where once you cross the finish line, you tick the box, it's done, and you never go back. So for me, something like Lakeland 100 or the Cape Wrath Ultra, whilst I'm glad I've done them, I have no desire to go back and do them again. Then there are others you finish which keep you coming back year after year. So for me, the South Downs Way 100 and Arc of Attrition would fall into that category. I come back every year for the people, the landscape, the community and the race. Then there are races that keep you coming back because you just can't seem to finish them, and you keep going back because you refuse to be beaten. I've said it many times on this channel before, if you want to really challenge yourself, do a race you're not sure you can actually finish. If we always do races within our comfort zone, then where is the challenge? Remember, your comfort zone is a desolate wasteland where nothing will ever grow. I've had a couple of races over the years which I've been unable to finish. Firstly, TDS, that took me 3 attempts, and the Ben Nevis Ultra also became my nemesis, 3 attempts to finish that one. But my new nemesis is the Swiss Alps 100. Now remember, this isn't the full race video, that will be out in a few weeks' time. Today we're just going to talk about what happened during that race. You may have seen my video from last year. I stood on the start line of the Swiss Alps 100, ready to take on the 100-kilometre mountainous terrain with Ben from Time on Feet. I felt that I was fairly well prepared, having done much harder races in the past, or so I thought. I felt that I would get round this without too much difficulty. That was perhaps my biggest mistake, complacency. I hadn't prepared or planned enough to take on the event, and I came unstuck in the hot weather. This year I felt I was much better prepared, not only in terms of logistics but also the knowledge that I'd gained from the event the year before. I knew what was coming, I knew the cut-off times, I knew what the weather was likely to be, and I knew at least half of the course. I was confident I could finish, and I felt good on the start line in my Flying Burrito shirt and the Enator insoles in my shoes, giving my legs that little extra protection. I'd gone with the Mount to Coast T1 trail shoes for this event, over and above my Hoka Speedgoats. I must say, over recent races I have reached for these when looking in my shoe cupboard for a pair of trail shoes. Looking at the Strava segment data for the first part of this year's race, it took me around about the same time. We climbed 1500 metres up to the Alesh Glacier Trail and then along the side of the glacier before reaching the second checkpoint at 16 kilometres. Interestingly, I was then slower by 9 minutes on the descent to the Aspi-Titter suspension bridge than I was in 2024. This was perhaps a good thing because I can remember feeling completely done in by the time I reached the bridge in 2024, and things only got worse from then on. This time I took it easier on the descent and I didn't run across the Aspi-Titter bridge, and as a result I felt a lot better when I got to the Bellwald checkpoint, primarily because it took me half an hour longer to get there. And because I felt better, I was able to push harder on the next section between Bellwald and Rickingen. It's a lot flatter, it's still lumpy, but a lot easier to run, and I essentially made up the half hour that I'd lost on that descent. It was still very hot, but not as hot as last year, and I wasn't feeling any ill effects from the heat. By the way, if you're enjoying the video, please do make sure that you watch to the very end. Share this video with your friends if you think they'd like to do the Swiss Alps 100, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Much appreciated. Over the next 9 kilometres between Rickingen and Steinhaus, I was faster than last year by 30 minutes, and then on the climb up to the checkpoint at Chäserstatt, I was faster than last year and able to maintain a higher level of effort, as you can see from the heart rate comparison. Chäserstatt is where I stopped in 2024 at just over 50 kilometres, and although I was tired this time, I was nowhere near the levels of exhaustion that I'd felt 12 months before. So here we are at the aid station that I dropped at last time. It's very tempting, it's a soft climb now. Very hard work. Right, that's Chäserstatt at 52 kilometers, and we're approaching 13 hours, I think, are we? No, 12 and a half hours. So that's good. So we just need to carry on, just one foot in front of the other, very, very slowly get to the top of this climb. So I carried on up the climb, feeling better and better as the temperature dropped, and I got to the summit at 9:30 p.m, 15 hours in, and I put my head torch on for the descent. Unfortunately, this is where things started to unravel for me. I'm not sure if it was delayed effects from the heat of the day, whether it was me having drunk some unfiltered stream water, or whether it was an imbalance in electrolytes, but my stomach had started to turn on the descent. I think I'd been eating and drinking relatively well for me, but it's difficult to say, isn't it? Whatever the situation, by the time I reached the checkpoint bin at the bottom of the hill, I was feeling pretty rough, and I went straight inside, downstairs to the restroom, and threw up big time. I think everyone upstairs heard my retching into the sink, and when I went back upstairs, a couple of the volunteers asked if I thought I was okay to carry on. Now, with hindsight, it's easy to say, but if I'd been sensible, I probably should have called it there and then and quit. However, having DNF'd the year before, I was really determined that I wanted to finish the race this year. And I was also really annoyed because I couldn't understand why things had gone so pear-shaped so quickly. I thought it must be a temporary thing, and once I start climbing, I'll get into the climb, I'll get over it, and I'll start to feel stronger again. It's getting serious now. We were having lots of fun earlier on. We're still having fun, but it's type 2 fun, and we're very tired. One massive climb left. And then even once we've done the climb and the descent, we've still got 20k to go. I did feel worried. My legs felt very weak and I needed calories, and I texted my wife to say just that. I needed to eat, but I couldn't keep anything down. Regardless, I set off up the final major climb at 10 past 11 in the evening, giving me 3 hours, 50 minutes to make the 1200 metre ascent to the top of Breithorn. I felt I had enough time, even feeling rough, that I would make it to the top before the cutoff at 3 a.m. Unfortunately, as I climbed, I felt worse and worse. I had to stop multiple times to be sick, eventually ended up dry heaving every 10 minutes. My lack of calories meant that I felt weaker and weaker. The higher I got, I felt weaker and weaker, and I was also feeling more and more tired. My eyes were closing as I was walking up the hill, making me more unsteady on my feet, more unstable, more likely to fall and injure myself. Once you get into that state, it's not just about your body, it's about your mind as well, and you start to give up. I was going slower and slower on the climb. People were passing me. I was getting more and more demoralised, and I just couldn't make it to the checkpoint on time. I'd had 3 hours and 50 minutes to make it. I was timed out at the top by 8 minutes. But if I'm honest, I don't even think I could have made it any further, even if I had made it to the checkpoint on time. Having spoken to some others who finished the race, the last 20 kilometres is not easy by any means, and I think by the time I got to that checkpoint, I would have been timed out at the next one or the next one after that. So once again, I was done. The Swiss Alps 100 course had beaten me for a second time. Now, whilst I'm absolutely gutted to have been timed out and not to have finished the race, it's made me doubly determined, triply determined to go back again for a third time to try and get this race done. It is now under my skin, it is my nemesis, and I have to finish this race. I've had coffee, I've had a few bits of banana. What else have I had? A bit of bread. I've got a Red Bull. I'm going to walk out. Let's go!
pressure, mate.
Right, bottles are all filled up. So I've got iced tea in that bottle, and then water in that bottle. I've got a Red Bull. I don't think I need to change very much during the race itself. I think my nutrition was relatively good. I think I managed the heat very well and I didn't chafe at all. I definitely won't be drinking any unfiltered water from streams, and I think the other thing I might do is put something that I know I can eat in my drop bag for later in the race. It's such a superb course. It's so beautiful yet so challenging. If you ever get the chance to come and do the Swiss Alps 100, please do it. Next year I will be adding more vert into my training. I'll also do fewer races in the lead up to the race, and I'll make the Swiss Alps 100 my absolute focus for 3 months before the race. I am confident, without being overconfident, that I can complete the Swiss Alps 100. Before I forget, I want to say a massive thank you to Flying Burrito Shirts and Enator Insoles, the sponsors of the main video and this video. Thank you very much to them. If you want to look the best runner on the course, get yourself a Flying Burrito shirt, plenty of different designs and colours to choose from, and if you ask them very nicely, you might even be able to get it branded with the Film My Run logo. I love Flying Burrito shirts, so please check out the description below for a discount code. And Enator Insoles, I have been wearing Enator Insoles for many years. Please go and check out the description. Great company, great product. So go and have a look in the description again below for a discount code for Enator Insoles. Finally, a massive thank you to Jakob, the race director of the Swiss Alps 100, for inviting me for a second time to do the Swiss Alps 100, and I apologise profusely to him for not finishing for a second time. We will do it the third time of asking, I promise you. Thank you very much to Jakob. If you want to enter the 100, go and do it now. There is also a 50k and a 100-mile race. Check out the Swiss Alps 100 website and go and enter for next year. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't seen last year's Swiss Alps 100 attempt, click that link right there. That'll take you there. I'll see you over there in a minute. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that. Thank you very much for watching to the end, and I will see you guys on the start line next time. Bye bye.